Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. Really happy you have taken the time to let us tell you what we feel are the 3 best practices for hauling water in the oil field. Specifically, we're going to introduce you to a new product called Field Flow. In short, it is a full spectrum solution to the issues that hinder the produced water management practice today. Let's review today's agenda and cover a few housekeeping items. First, we will cover the speaker introductions, and I'll mention a few stats about produced water hauling today. Then we will dive into the 3 best practices of produced water management. After that, we will open up the session for Q&A. You will be able to type in your questions in the GoToWebinar control panel, and we will answer them in the order we receive them. Of course, please don't forget to download the 3 best practices white paper. There's a link near the bottom of the GoToWebinar control panel. Presenting today will be Becky Gibbs-Murray and myself, Jeff Lang. We are both petroleum engineers by training, so we apologize in advance. Together, we have nearly 50 years of experience in the industry, and unfortunately, I have the lion's share of that. Becky has worked on the software development side for most of her career, while I have been involved on the operations side for the majority of mine. Again, we appreciate you joining us today. The water produced in oil and gas operations in this country is a big deal. It is estimated that we produce about 60 million barrels of water each day. If we assume 50% of that water is still trucked, and that's likely conservative, that equates to 30 million barrels a day, which is being hauled by about 50,000 trucks. While the trucking and disposal costs vary by basin and well, $2.20 per barrel is a frequently quoted number. That means that our industry is spending $66 million a day hauling and disposing of water. Now, every field operation is different, but we typically see a savings of 10 cents per barrel with Field Flow. At 10 cents per barrel, Field Flow can save the industry nearly $7 million a day. Now, if we look at that on an annual basis, that's 22 billion barrels of water produced in a year, 11 billion barrels trucked at a cost of over $24 billion. The Field Flow savings then comes out at nearly $2.5 billion per year. As you can see, the produced water hauling business is a big deal, and that's why a solution like Field Flow is so necessary and so important. As one large producer recently told us, we know our oil and gas production down to the molecule, but we don't have visibility into our water within 15%. And that is a problem when you think about the volumes that are produced and hauled every day. Again, this is a big deal. The title of this webinar was 3 best practices for hauling water in the oil field. Let me quickly tell you what we think those are. First of all, truck-based measurement is far superior to the current practice of gauging stock tanks for a variety of reasons. We'll get into those shortly. Second, automated electronic ticketing is a must in today's oil field if we want to modernize this industry, and it pays dividends for both the producer and the hauler. Third, a robust dashboard, accessible by both the producer and the hauler, is essential in optimizing the water hauling practice and driving costs down for both parties. Let's talk about how water is hauled today. Typically, the producer has a large spreadsheet with all the wells listed on it. They will color code the wells that need to be hauled that day and divvy those up amongst the various companies that haul water for them. The dispatcher at the water hauling company then assigns those to the various drivers. The driver makes their rounds that day to all the wells on their list. When they arrive at the producing well, they ideally shut in the stock tank, climb up on top of it, open the thief hatch, and gauge the tank to determine the starting level. Then they climb down and use the tank strap to determine the final level that will equate to the specified volume they were supposed to haul from that location. While the load is being pulled, the driver may use a sight glass or other inaccurate gauge on his tanker, or possibly some type of flow meter mounted on their truck to monitor the volume being loaded. When they are finished, they climb back up on the tank a second time, gauge the tank again to get their final readings, and climb back down. Then they record the levels and volumes on a carbon copy ticket, leaving 1 copy in a jar or mailbox at the location, open the flow back into the stock tank, and head off. They drive to the specified saltwater disposal facility and offload their volume. Depending on the disposal facility, they may or may not have some type of metering to determine the volume of water actually being offloaded. In some cases, the dispatcher wants to track their progress and therefore has the driver call in their location at the end of each job. So at the end of the day, the driver turns in their paper tickets to the main office where they are manually converted into an invoice, which will eventually be sent to the producer. Back at the producing well, the company representative comes by at some point in the next few days, or not, and picks up the paper copy of the ticket that was left behind. This copy is then turned into the producer's office where it will be verified against the hauler's invoice when it finally shows up. So what's the issue? Well, first of all, there are safety risks for the driver who has to climb up and down the stock tank twice during this procedure. Then there are risks when the thief hatch is opened and dangerous gases are potentially leaked into the air. This is a safety and environmental issue we would love to avoid. Next, there are often uncertainties with the measurement that are used to determine the actual volume hauled. Was the tank gauged correctly? Did the driver use the correct tank strap? Did they properly convert the depth measurement to the desired volume? If not, was too much water hauled or not enough? There are issues either way. The same uncertainties exist at the disposal facility when the water is offloaded. This can lead to disputes between the producer and the hauler, which requires significant time on behalf of the driver and the back office staff to resolve. And no one wants to be the recipient of accusations regarding their honesty or practice. Finally, the paper ticketing results in significant delays in the processing and payment of the ticket. This isn't good for either the producer or the water hauler. The producer wants up-to-date information to accurately manage their LOE, and the water hauler wants to get paid for their services as soon as possible. As an industry, we can do better. Let me turn it over to Becky to tell you more about field flow.
Thanks, Jeff. Here at Eagle, we've realized that there's a clear need to solve these key problems for the produced water management industry. After taking a long look at the pain points from the viewpoint not only for the producers, but also the water haulers, the idea of field flow is born. What is field flow exactly? In a nutshell, it's an end-to-end solution for produced water management that combines truck-mounted hardware that works seamlessly with an automated driver mobile application and a fully loaded web-based dashboard that combine to provide both producers and haulers alike streamlined business optimization. The hardware on the truck is comprised of a sensor mounted in the centermost location of the water hauling tanker. We've worked directly with the trailer manufacturers themselves to build a calibration mechanism that ensures barrel measurements are extremely accurate based off the specific trailer the sensor is installed in. This volume gets automatically transmitted to the app when the driver completes their field ticket. To make the driver's lives easier and to ensure they're following hand-on valve safety procedures, there's a display mounted at the back of the truck that tells the driver not only the current volume in the tank, as well as the estimated total weight of the vehicle, helping to ensure they're under DOT weight regulations. Now this is the cool part. The control box at the front of the tanker allows the driver to pull volumes directly from the sensor to complete field tickets. This automated electronic ticketing eliminates the need for paper tickets, which have always come with their fair share of issues. The whole process from start to finish looks something like this. Jobs get assigned to drivers by dispatch via the web dashboard application. The driver shows up on location and completes their field ticket with literally 3 button clicks, directly leveraging the sensor for automated accuracy and ease. They then repeat this process at the SWD facility. All this ticket data comes back into the office in real time to a user-friendly dashboard to drive powerful custom analytics that allow haulers and producers to streamline operations and facilitate better business decision-making. Additionally, as the driver is going about their day, their location and current volume on the truck are synchronized with the field office, allowing dispatch to quickly identify where the best drivers are for priority jobs. This data is also made available to the drivers in a map-based view, allowing them to quickly identify where there might be long waits at an SWD and redirect their load when necessary. There are other suppliers that offer this workflow for basic electronic ticketing, but nobody offers the automated, sensor-based electronic ticketing that FieldFlow does. Let's take a look at the side-by-side comparison of the amount of steps necessary for a typical water hauling job with and without FieldFlow technology in place. As Jeff talked through earlier, the traditional method involves several steps to achieve the same result. The driver must gauge the tank both before and after loading the truck, and then calculate the difference to obtain a volume. This measurement is only as accurate as the human eye and tank gauging tape can get you. This process alone can take 15 minutes per location if the driver is efficient, but it also presents safety risks and environmental impacts associated with climbing on top of the tank, opening the thief hatch, not once, but twice at each location. FieldFlow's technology allows to eliminate this entire process with a simple button click before loading water onto the truck and again after loading the truck. With FieldFlow, because all data is captured electronically and accurately, there's no need to take paper tickets and rekey data prior to invoicing. Smudges that make for illegible tickets and lost tickets become a thing of the past. By providing the driver with some simple-to-use hardware and a mobile application that communicates with it, we've replaced several steps in the process. To put into perspective how much value that adds to a hauler's day-to-day operations, we can think about what this means for a single job. The driver saves 15 minutes or more not having to gauge tanks or calculate volumes. The dispatcher saves time providing the drivers with their to-do list for the day with a user-friendly dispatch board. Call it 3 minutes per job. The back office team saves multiple minutes per ticket by not having to rekey data into an invoicing system in order to bill the producer. Let's say 5 to 10 minutes here. For a single job, we've saved the hauler 20 to 30 minutes of their employees' time that they can then spend on things that impact the business more as a whole. Now, let's take that 20 to 30 minutes for a single job and say that this water hauler has a fleet of 20 trucks, which each do 5 jobs a day. That's 100 jobs a day for the entire fleet, which means we've now saved this water hauler 40 hours or more worth of saved productivity in a single day. So let's take a step back now and see how your company can benefit from leveraging FieldFlow in your business. It all boils down to 4 factors of key value-adding benefits for both producers and the water haulers. First, transparency. This piece of the oil and gas industry has lacked transparency for far too long. The producers want to know that they are getting what they paid for, and the water haulers want proof to show that they are doing the right thing. Both the producer and the hauler have a detailed record showing that the produced water did indeed get picked up and hauled from the correct location to the proper disposal facility. As such, FieldFlow's sensor-based technology provides the producers with confidence when it comes to approving invoices that come in from the water hauler, allowing them to get paid faster and avoid spending valuable time dealing with lengthy ticket disputes. Second, efficiency. By providing drivers with a mechanism to have faster load times, as well as providing the office with efficient dispatching and real-time dashboards, water haulers can become much more efficient. This just means that there's more capacity in their business to take on more jobs, which instantly means more money. Third, there's huge and obvious safety and environmental benefits from leveraging FieldFlow. The driver no longer must climb on top of a tank and open a thief hatch, potentially releasing dangerous gases into the environment and also risking personal harm. Inadvertent spills resulting from overfilling and weight violations can then be avoided. By combining all these things, opportunities for business optimization become apparent. The learnings from the dashboard lead to efficiencies for both the producer and the water hauler, which helps them both to reduce their expenses. This is more important than ever now, as we as an industry must do more with less to maintain profitability. At the end of the day, the companies on either side of the table who best optimize their operations will be the ones left standing. Now I'd like to take this opportunity to give you a glimpse at what you can get with FieldFlow fully implemented. What you're looking at here is a screenshot from the dashboard application. This real-time map is loaded with valuable, actionable information that can provide instantaneous value. When we install FieldFlow on a truck, we learn the capacity of that unique tank. We can then present the user with a view that shows each and every truck's fill level in comparison to its unique capacity. The icons on the map that have no blue line around them are currently empty, and therefore the ideal candidate for those hot jobs that come in throughout the day. Clicking on an icon provides the user with key data, such as where that truck is currently on the way to, where it was last, and the volume on board. Dispatchers can use this to understand their fleet in ways they've never been able to before. Producers can use this to understand where drivers are on their locations and where that water is headed. Because FieldFlow is the only solution out there that provides this end-to-end hardware and software combination, it's the only product that can provide this level of detail into fleet metrics and field visibility. All that data that's collected during the field ticket creation process comes into a central analytics dashboard view, which provides insight into KPIs that can also facilitate better business decisions. We talked with members of water management teams for multiple producers, as well as supervisors and dispatch team members from multiple water hauling companies to build each set of out-of-the-box analytics that you see when you log in. For the water hauler, we focused on time on location and visibility into individual trailer and driver metrics to maximize business optimization by allowing for quick identification of problem areas. For the producer, we focused on well-level insight that identifies where the main focus and priority should be for your water management operation. These are just the ones that we chose for out-of-the-box metrics, but these can be fully customized and scheduled to send to any number of individuals in your organization that you prefer. As many of these customized reports can be created as you'd like. For example, a management level report that sends out periodically that just provides high-level roll-ups of volumes by location and by hauler, and a detailed operations level report that provides more day-to-day visibility to provide a better grasp on the operational side of things with ease.
Thanks, Becky. FieldFlow is different than other products on the market because we are the only one that offer a soup-to-nuts solution for produced water hauling optimization. There are other measurement systems out there that offer the ability to measure levels in water tankers like ours. However, we feel our measurement system is more accurate and reliable than the others. Because our system communicates seamlessly with the driver mobile application, we can ensure safety for the driver and confidence in tickets for the producer. Sure, some other methods out there offer electronic ticketing. However, there's none that have the sensor-based accuracy to populate those tickets. And then there are a few out there that collect and compile data into a dashboard like ours. In our opinion, our dashboard is amongst the best out there because we can provide real-time visibility that extends beyond traditional fleet metrics and gives both producers and haulers actionable data instantly. We built this solution by hanging out with truck drivers and learning their unique needs and workflows, and then working directly with the producers to understand where their concerns lie within their water management operations. By doing this research, we've mitigated the pain points that matter to both parties most. No one offers the same full spectrum solution as FieldFlow. By providing all the pieces of the puzzle, we have seamless interaction between all the components. This is true one-stop shopping. So let's talk about the benefits to the different parties. The producer receives real-time information via the electronic data transfer. They can then use the dashboard to aggregate and analyze important KPIs, optimize field operations, and ultimately save money. Plus, they have proof of first-class operatorship, which enhances their social license to operate. The water hauler enjoys safer and more efficient loading. The electronic ticketing saves back office time and results in quicker invoicing and faster payment. FieldFlow provides them with an accurate record of their water hauling practice, demonstrating exceptional operational performance and full environmental compliance. They can show the producers that they are truly best in class and deserve to be the hauler of choice. As we all know, the regulatory scrutiny of our industry is only increasing. FieldFlow provides the regulatory agencies with accurate data for reservoir management and reporting, making the actual hauling operation safer for all involved, and provides ironclad proof of environmental compliance. As you can see, everybody wins. There are a number of ways FieldFlow saves money for the producer. For example, when a producing well fails to get hauled because it somehow slipped through the cracks and it gets shut in due to full stock tanks, this cost can be really significant. Our system helps eliminate or minimize the possibility of this by knowing what trucks are nearby that can quickly respond to this unanticipated situation. Producer can also ensure that full loads are being hauled every time and they are maximizing the fluid moved while minimizing truck traffic. Dollars will be saved in the back office by eliminating the need for paper tickets to be manually rekeyed. Less time will be spent on disputed tickets due to illegible or lost paper tickets. And the elimination of fines due to inadvertent spills, environmental issues, or weight violations can also be avoided. Now let's talk about the savings to the water hauler. Obviously, they're not going to want to incorporate this technology if there's nothing in it for them. With FieldFlow, the water hauler can absolutely achieve operational efficiencies by utilizing the abundance of data which is constantly transmitted back to their dashboard. The efficiencies achieved with the electronic ticketing save time and money in the back office and reduce the chances for disputes with the producer. By knowing the exact volume and weight of the load in the tanker, hauling violations can be avoided. By being able to see real time the location and tank level of each truck in the fleet, unanticipated hauling requests can more easily be satisfied. With the use of FieldFlow, the water hauler can process invoices more quickly, resulting in faster payment and the elimination of the need to use expensive financing options like factoring. Before we cover your questions, let me make a few concluding remarks. FieldFlow is the only closed-loop, tank-to-disposal well water management system available today. It brings transparency to water hauling and disposal, which translates into an improved well site safety profile, greater efficiencies, improved accuracy, and lower costs for both producers and water haulers. Typically, we see internal rates of return of 400% or more with FieldFlow. In today's dynamic environment, you really can't afford not to do it right. That concludes our formal presentation. Please don't forget to download your free white paper. And now, let's get to your questions. Thanks. All right, I have a few questions coming in here. Number one, do you have to pay for the hardware up front?
No, so that's one of the really nice things about the way that the FieldFlow pricing model works. The pricing for the hardware and the software is all bucketed into one managed service fee. If you have more questions and would like more detail as to how the pricing model looks, definitely reach out to either Jeff or myself, and we can get you more information on that and tailor it a little bit better to your unique business needs.
Okay. Second question, you showed a screenshot of that map earlier. How often does that data get updated?
That map data gets updated every 30 seconds, so it is pretty close to real time.
Okay. Number three, how long does it take to install the hardware? Do you have to take trailers out of rotation to support this kind of equipment?
It kind of depends on the specific tanker that we're installing in. Some are a little bit easier to install in than others. but a good rule of thumb would be an hour and a half per installation. So you can definitely have it in the shop ready to go first thing in the morning, and we can go ahead and do the install and have that tanker and on its way by 8 a.m.
Appreciate the questions continuing to come in here. I would still like my haulers to manually gauge tanks so I have something to compare these sensor volumes to until I feel comfortable. Is this something that is supported in your application?
Most definitely. So that's something that we get asked quite a bit because it is new technology and people want to make sure that they're feeling comfortable with the accuracy that the sensor provides before they move forward with replacing the tank gauging completely. So we've added a manual gauge section to the field ticket, and drivers can put in those gauge values. And then in the dashboard application, there's a way that they can reconcile between the manual gauge volumes and the field flow volumes until they're comfortable enough to say, go ahead and stay off the tanks.
Okay. What if we still need to provide paper tickets for the operators we haul for until a complete process change is ready to take place? Do you have a recommendation on how we can handle that?
Yes, we do. So there is a printer that we can sell in addition to the basic field flow hardware package. It's an optional add-on, and it's just a little rugged printer that is connected to the app, and there's a little print button at the bottom of each field ticket where the driver can print off that ticket information and then leave it on location, bring it back to the office with him, and scan it in, or whatever the unique case may be there.
Okay. How often do the sensors need to be calibrated?
Good question. Usually it's just at time of installation. In some cases where, say, the tanker needs to get a new liner in it, or it gets a crack in it, or something like that, the sensor will have to be pulled out to support that kind of maintenance activity. And when it gets reinstalled, it'll have to be recalibrated. But oftentimes, it's only calibrated at the initial time of installation.
Okay, looks like we have just a couple more here. What if the truck is in an area without cellular communications?
Definitely a really common question that we get there. That is definitely supported. So the app works completely offline. It tries to synchronize with the back office every 30 seconds when it can. And when it's offline in a remote area, it just stores all of that data locally. And so the driver can capture their field ticket, and then as they drive back through the cellular zone, the app will go ahead and synchronize that data back with the field office.
Okay, looks like we have one last question here. You mentioned 3 button clicks to complete a field ticket, but can drivers put in notes and other comments when needed?
Absolutely. So the 3 button clicks is really just the key data that's needed on every single field ticket. We already have a lot of the site information and header data from the dispatch team when the field ticket gets sent to the driver. And so the 3 button click is really capturing the arrival volume, capturing the departure volume, and then saving that ticket. However, they can go ahead and put in notes, photos, even as I mentioned a little bit earlier, manual gauges. And also there's a place where they can enter seal on and seal off if they happen to be driving in BLM land.
Okay, that looks like all the questions we have, so we're going to call that a wrap. And that's going to be the formal conclusion of the webinar for today. Again, we very much appreciate you taking the time to learn more about field flow. And please contact Becky or myself at the number shown with any questions you may have. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.